The queen called him a bargain, and the whole empire laughed. Because in the Valerie courts, a human was not a warrior, not a strategist. Just a cheap survivor from a stubborn species that refused to die quietly. Elias Rook stood beneath the crystal throne in gold cuffs. Queen Sorelith had bought him from a border war auction. 43 years old, scar over one eyebrow, file-marked tactical labor, value negligible. She sent him to the lower decks. Then smiled. At least humans are affordable. That was the first mistake, calling a human cheap in a palace built above a war machine. For 3 months, Elias obeyed. Or seemed to. He repaired doors, patched lines, carried ammunition, and listened. Servants ignored him. Officers mocked him. Admirals spoke beside him as if he were furniture. And the queen never looked twice. Elias learned the neglected shield towers, the drunk captains, the open tunnels, and the statues hiding old cannons. When you underestimate a human, you do not make him smaller, you make yourself blind. And blindness is expensive. Then the sky opened. And the empire discovered the bill. The Karun swarm arrived during the Feast of 9 Suns. Bone-black ships sliding from impossible space, their hulls pulsing like ribs around a starving heart. They sent no demands, only hunger. Moons burned first, orbital forts cracked next, and the palace shields trembled under weapons no engineer could name. Half the fleet was painted gold for parade, facing the wrong direction. Queen Sorelith commanded calmly for 7 minutes. Then the northern grid died, the banquet hall went dark, and every noble who had laughed at Elias screamed for someone useful. That was when the bargain stood up. Elias was on the lowest deck when the first impact split the ceiling and dropped marble dust like snow. Engineers argued, priests chanted at machines that needed coolant, officers shouted orders, nobody followed. Elias picked up a dead guard's sidearm and fired once into the roof. Silence fell. He spoke without raising his voice. Reroute banquet power to shields, vent hangar 12, wake the mining lasers. Rotate the parade fleet, open the old command relays. They stared until another explosion rocked the deck. Then fear did what pride could not. It made them obey across the capital. Beautiful things became weapons. Lakes split open, and cutters rose from the water. Cannons unfolded from marble emperors, cargo tractors smashed into boarding craft, and the golden parade fleet turned like a wounded beast remembering its claws. Orders came from the basement. Ugly orders, efficient orders, human orders. Captains followed them because those orders worked. Enemy ships burned over the palace. And Queen Sorelith realized the man she priced like scrap was spending her empire's defenses better than her generals. Then came the cruelest hook. The swarm was not attacking the throne. It was herding civilians toward it. Elias saw it first. Because hunger always moves the same way, the swarm chased refugee ships into the capital shield lanes, forcing the empire to choose between sealing the palace and killing its own people. The court froze, but humans are born on worlds where every choice has teeth. Elias seized the queen's private channel and said, "If you keep the shields closed, they die outside. If you open them wrong, we die inside, so open them my way." Sorelith stared at the prisoner she had mocked, and for the first time in her life, she waited for a human to tell her what to do. The shields opened in strips, blinking with impossible precision. Refugee ships slipped through like needles through silk. Swarm vessels chasing them struck sudden walls of white fire and cracked apart. Elias bled from one ear, but he kept counting. 3 seconds open, 1 second closed. Lower batteries fire, again, again, again. Every pulse saved thousands. Every error would have murdered millions. The queen watched her bargain purchase tomorrow 1 heartbeat at a time. But saving an empire is never the same as surviving it. At dusk, the Swarm Queen vessel broke through. A continent-sized skull of black metal falling toward the palace, its gravity wake tearing towers from the horizon. Admirals demanded retreat. Priests demanded sacrifice. Nobles demanded someone else's courage. Elias asked for 1 shuttle, 1 engine core, and access to the oldest jump gate. Sorelith went pale. That gate had been sealed for centuries. An unstable jump inside atmosphere could erase the throne. City and mountain beneath it, Elias only said, "I do not need it stable." "Your Majesty, I need it angry." That was the moment the court understood the cost of a bargain. Sorelith ordered his cuffs removed, because she could no longer pretend chains belonged on the man holding her empire together. Elias rubbed his wrists, opened every civilian channel, and appeared across the system with smoke behind him and no crown above him. He said, "Hold your children close, keep your ships low, and when the sky turns green, do not look up. I am going to make the monster blink." Then he climbed into the shuttle. Too small to matter, which was why it mattered. The human flew into the mouth of the storm. Palace lasers carved a corridor through enemy fire. Refugee ships preyed into open channels. And Queen Sorelith stood before the glass throne, hands trembling where no subject could see. Elias drove the overloaded core into the jump gate, opened a wound in space beneath the swarm queen, and rammed the shuttle through before reality could heal. The explosion did not roar. It stole sound itself. The sky turned green. The skull ship folded inward. The swarm link shattered. And 10,000 enemy vessels dropped dead like insects in winter. Only his badge survived. Fused into green glass on the lowest deck, where he had first been sent to disappear, Queen Sorelith held it before the court that had laughed at him, and her voice cracked once. "I called him a bargain because I thought value was measured by birth, rank, and price. I was wrong. A bargain is something gained for less than it is worth. And Elias Rook was worth more than my crown. More than this empire deserved. From that day, no human was ever bought by the Valere again." Above the throne, the queen placed his badge. And when children asked why the greatest relic looked so small, teachers answered, "Because that is how mistakes begin. And that is how legends end, with one underestimated soul becoming too expensive for an empire to survive losing."